Hi everyone, thanks for joining us on Thank You for Improving Wellness. Today we're doing mental health chats with Cassie McPharlin. Thanks so much for joining us, Cassie.
Thanks for having me.
No problems. So let's get started. Can you please just let us know a little bit about?
Sure. I'm 25 years old. I have a Bachelor in Midwifery and I'm studying Bachelor of Nursing. I do a bit of PCA work at the hospital. I'm just studying and working full-time at Weston's as a pathology collector.
Actually, happy International Nurses Day today.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's very exciting.
Yeah, and I could see that probably you personally, as well as in your work, probably cross paths with mental health quite a lot.
Yes, yeah, a lot.
So for you, what does mental health mean?
I think mental health is really important to your overall health. I think it plays such a huge role in like your physical health and your emotional and relationships you have with other people. And I think it's really important to make sure that you check in on your mental health as well as your physical health and everything as well.
Yeah, I totally agree, and absolutely right that it is something that's quite often missed out in, like when talking about physical health.
Yeah, for sure.
So do you mind telling us a little bit about your journey and how mental health has impacted your life?
So I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder in 2014. And I think I actually had it for a while before that, I sort of worked out that there was something wrong. So it's been quite a big role in my life. It really affects my relationships with friends and family and my confidence. It affects my sleeping, my work. Like it's definitely such a big focus in my life. So it has such a big effect on a lot of areas.
Yeah, and I guess just to throw an extra question in for you, what does generalized anxiety disorder mean? Some people watching this might not even know what that is.
Generalized anxiety disorder is pretty much just general anxiety. It's anxiety in all areas of life. So social anxiety, you can get panic attacks, you get just everything. Like there's and it changes too. It's really strange. So I find I can go through phases of really bad social anxiety and I can't be around people, and then it can be other things, like it can show up in forms of like OCD. So if I'm having really bad time, I can have little rituals and routines that are just a little bit too OCD that I have to try and train myself to get out of doing that. So it sort of covers all areas of your life, and it's forever changing as well. So you've got to constantly learn how to deal with it.
Yeah, I always think about generalized anxiety. It's almost like worry about worry. It can come up at any point.
All the time. Yeah, all the time. You worry about worrying and then you worry about being anxious, and it's like a circle. You never stop.
Yeah, and I think you gave us a couple insights of what it feels like for you. Is there anything particular you can notice, or other people around you can notice, that you might be having a bit more anxiety or struggling a bit with your mental health?
When I'm really anxious, there's two things that I do, which are probably not very great, but I either spend a lot of time in bed trying to not think, not deal with people. Otherwise, I do the other extreme and I try to keep myself really busy, so I don't ever sit down and have time to myself. I try not to let myself have time to think, so I often burn myself out because I don't stop. So I think the busier that I'm making myself, the worse my anxiety gets, and it's often one of the first clues that I think, okay, there's something wrong. I need to sit and have a think about what's wrong with me.
Or what's going on right now.
Yeah, what's going on right now? Why can't I sit still?
Yeah, and it's such a good point to bring up for people who might not notice, like really high achieving people or people who are really busy. It's like you might be actually doing a lot more things, or you might be like really productive or doing heaps of uni assignments and the house might be really clean, but those are kind of almost distractions from what might be.
Yeah, they are for sure. Very good distractions.
I've worked with a lot of people with anxiety disorders who are just extremely productive and smart and so amazing, but anxiety, it pushes them, but it also at the same time is really destructive in the way they're feeling about themselves.
It is, yeah.
So I guess that's some of probably the negative sides of anxiety, but do you feel like you've got any positives from living with a mental health problem?
I think as much as I try to avoid thinking, it is actually really helpful because I don't really jump into things. I really think about all sides of something before I make a decision. And it's normally worked out better for me. It's been really good at helping me slow down and not rush into things.
Can you explain some challenges that you've overcome and how you overcame them, and that might be helpful to other people who might be experiencing some anxiety?
I think admitting or realizing that you have got some anxiety there is the hardest part. I think once you realize that you've got it and you can reach out and get some help, it really makes such a huge difference. And finding the right people to talk to as well, that makes a huge difference. I've dealt with a few people who didn't understand it or didn't know how to deal with it, and it's sort of in the long run made me feel worse. So I think acknowledging it and finding the right people are probably the hardest things, but it's so much better once you deal with it.
Yeah, I think that leads directly into my next question as well, is that you said like the right people around you is something really helpful. Is there other things that you do that are really helpful to manage your anxiety?
I really like going to the gym or going running. I find exercise, it clears my head. It makes me feel really good afterwards. So that's something I do a lot. I like to be around people. So I've got a few friends that I know I can spend time with. I like to read. I do reading, anything that like challenges my mind, I think, to learn new things and sort of stay in the present moment rather than worrying about what could happen or what has happened. Yeah,
some really great ways to sort of calm things down and give your mind a bit of a break from all its thinking.
Yeah.
So my last question for you is that people might be having a lot of stress or mental health problems or a bit more anxiety and worry right now because the world kind of is gone crazy. What might be a couple of things that might work for some people, or some good ways to manage or difficult times or manage stress?
Normally I would keep myself really busy. I'd go out, but with everything being closed, I sort of had to learn how to deal with things while locked at home. I've found that things like puzzles, I've been doing so many puzzles lately. It's like it's just focusing on something. It distracts me, and it's been really good. I didn't realize I would get so into it, but it's been really helpful for my anxiety, I found. So that's really good. Just going for walks. I know we couldn't go out much, but spending a bit of time outside is nice too, so you're not so locked up at home. I think things like this, video chats too, have been really good. I've been keeping in contact with people, so keeping in contact with people has been really good as well.
Yeah, it sounds like you've found like more at home and calm things that you can still keep yourself busy but calm at the same time.
Yeah, I've learned how to be in my own company a bit better, I think. Not having the option to go out and keep myself busy and surround myself with people, it's like sort of taught me how to enjoy my own company and how to calm myself down.
Yeah, awesome. And before we finish up, I just wanted to know, is there anything else you'd like to finish with, or let people know, or anything you'd like to reiterate for the end of the interview?
I just want to say mental health is such a huge thing, and it's really important to check in with yourself and your friends and family, make sure everyone is doing okay, and always reach out for help if you need it. I think that's really important too.
Yeah, absolutely. And at that, thanks so much, Cassie, for joining us.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Thanks everyone for joining, and thank you for improving wellness.
Okay, bye.